A cardinal's body lay rotting in the Tiber while his family plotted who'd kill next, and they wore the robes of the church. Rome, 1497. The Borgia Pope, Alexander VI, had just consolidated power over half of Italy through means I've read about in the archived Vatican correspondence myself. Poison, assassination, strategic marriages, the usual toolkit of Renaissance ambition. But what happened that summer would cement the Borgias as history's most ruthless papal dynasty. And it all started with a body pulled from a river. Let me rewind. Rodrigo Borgia didn't just stumble into the papacy, he bought it. In 1492, he purchased the papal throne through bribery so brazen, so unapologetic, that even Rome's jaded cardinals blinked. He was already wealthy, already connected, already willing to do what others wouldn't. His election wasn't a miracle, it was a transaction. Alexander had children. That was the scandal nobody whispered about, they shouted it. Cesare, Lucrezia, Juan, Giovanni. In an age when celibacy was supposed to be non-negotiable, the Pope's brood walked through Rome in silks and jewels, their bloodline more powerful than any cardinal's prayer. Lucrezia married 3 times before she turned 25. Each marriage was a chess move, each divorce a political statement. But the real player was Cesare, handsome, ruthless, ambitious beyond reason. He was groomed for power the way other children were groomed for the priesthood. His father gave him a cardinal's hat at 16. By 25, he discarded the robes, married a French princess, and begun carving out his own kingdom in central Italy. He didn't want to serve the church. He wanted to rule it. Then there's Juan, the younger brother, favored, reckless, given command of the papal armies despite having no military experience. Cesare watched his father pour resources into Juan's hands, resources Cesare believed were rightfully his. The tension between them wasn't subtle. It was a knife waiting for the right moment to fall. That moment came on a June night in 1497. Juan Borgia, drunk and confident, rode through Rome with a companion. He was wearing a cape of crimson velvet. Nobody disputes that detail. I've read it in multiple contemporary accounts. What happened next is where history gets murky, and that's where the real story lies. His companion arrived at the papal palace alone. Juan never did. By morning, search parties combed the streets. By evening, fishermen dredged his corpse from the Tiber. He'd been stabbed multiple times. His pockets were empty, not robbery, but humiliation. Whoever killed Juan wanted him found, wanted Rome to know. The Pope wept, publicly, dramatically. He declared a day of mourning. He swore vengeance. And then this is the part that always gets left out of the textbooks. He did absolutely nothing. No arrests, no investigation, no justice, which told Rome everything they needed to know about who held the knife. Suspicion landed on Cesare like a stone in still water. The whispers started immediately. Cesare had motive, ambition. Cesare had access, he was the Pope's son. Cesare had the ruthlessness, everyone in Rome knew that. But here's what matters, nobody could prove it, not then, not now. What we do know is that Cesare rose immediately afterward. Within months, he'd consolidated Juan's military command. Within a year, he was the most powerful man in Rome besides the Pope himself. That's not coincidence. That's the architecture of ambition. Now we get to the poison. The Borgias didn't invent it, they perfected it. Arsenic, cantarella. Whatever the formula, the Borgias allegedly kept it in a small golden apple. Drop it in wine. Watch your enemy convulse within hours. No marks, no evidence. Just a convenient death attributed to illness. How many died this way? We don't know. The rumors claim dozens. Contemporary chroniclers, and I stress this is hearsay, though persistent hearsay, suggested that Alexander himself was poisoned by Cesare at a banquet in 1503. That Cesare drank from the same cup by accident. That both men died of the same mysterious fever within weeks of each other. Then there's Lucrezia, the incest rumors. I've read the letters myself, or rather the translations of letters that historians have debated for centuries. Some suggest an affair between Lucrezia and her father, others between Lucrezia and Cesare. The truth? Probably buried under layers of Renaissance gossip, political slander, and the fact that we'll never have definitive proof. What matters is that people believed it. In Rome, belief was currency. If nobles believed the Borgias were capable of incest, poison, and murder, if they were afraid, then the Borgias held power whether the rumors were true or not. Fear doesn't require evidence. It just requires reputation. By 1503, Alexander was dead. Cesare was dying of syphilis, his body rotting from the inside out. Lucrezia had married a duke and was trying to rebuild her reputation. The Borgia moment was collapsing, but for one generation, they'd proven something that terrified the Renaissance elite, that morality was optional if you had enough power, enough money, and enough willingness to kill. The Borgias didn't invent political ruthlessness. They just did it louder, more publicly, and with less remorse than their peers. And Rome, the city of God, the seat of moral authority, watched, tolerated, participated, because that's what power does. It corrupts everyone it touches. The Borgias fell. Their name became synonymous with depravity, but their legacy lived on in every corrupt dynasty that followed, in every ruler who believed the rules didn't apply to them. History doesn't repeat, but it echoes. And sometimes, if you listen closely enough, you can hear Rome screaming. Subscribe every week. We're pulling back the curtain on the scandals and conspiracies that shaped Europe's most powerful families.